Lights, Camera, Exploitation, your guide to exploitive cinema. This is the pod boss, TJ Bowser, and joining me as always is my doppelganger, kangabanger from down under, Mr. Brody Kane.
Howdy, you fucking dog bastards.
And Mr. Slick Nick.
What up?
Today, we have a doozy of an episode, but first, it's time for your slice of life. Brody, how goes it?
It all goes, Mr. Bowser. It all fucking goes, as I say every week. Flat out here and there, working my ass off. Speaking of, I had a really interesting last week, actually. I ended up getting gastro, and that shit is not pleasant. I tell you what, that's probably the worst I've ever had it. Had the squits for days.
Oh.
Green apple splatters, and it was not good. Spilling my ring up. Fucking, she was coming out in all sorts. So, I had to paint a pretty picture for you guys. So, yeah, hopefully you
as my father would call it, shitting through a screen door.
Diarrhea.
But anyway, fucking, yeah, so she was an interesting week, yeah. I ended up buying the Babadook from, well, it was like a little box set from Second Sight Films.
Oh, come on, you could say the Babadook better than that.
The Babadook. That's my fucking voice doing that. Any fucking way. Yeah, thought I'd treat myself to something from Second Sight Films. I've been loving what they've been putting out at the moment. I mean, this will be the second box that I've bought from them. I think the first was Lake Mungo. So, yeah, very excited to get it. They sent it the other day, so it might be here in 2 weeks. But other than that, yeah, watch this fantastic film. It was good to actually watch it again. It's been a hot minute since I've seen it. And, yeah. How about you, Slick Nick? How you been, mate?
Not too bad, my man. Yeah, pretty much just work all week, about that much. Procrastinating on chores after work because work has been enough that I've just been tired as hell. Really not a lot. Watching this, I did actually start watching Boardwalk Empire, though, because I never watched that back when it was coming out. It's an HBO show starring Steve Buscemi about basically like the illegal distillery trade during the Prohibition, Al Capone and all that. I saw Steve
Buscemi today.
You did?
I don't know if you saw in the louder chat. I was like on my way to Sheets, and I held this door open for this dude, and he turned around, and he looked like Steve Buscemi from Airheads. And I was like, whoa!
Oh my God, it's you! Yeah, if you watch Boardwalk Empire, you see a lot of Steve Buscemi. More of him
really good
than you would think. He's fantastic in it. It's actually really good. I'm about halfway through season 1, I think, so far this week, and it's been fantastic. But yeah, that's really about the extent of everything I've done this week. It's been pretty quiet. So other than, running into Steve Buscemi, what have you been up to, TJ?
Fucking A. Watching films, man. Tons and tons of films. Doing a lot of podcasting stuff. I got some new films today. I ordered Saint Bernard and All the Colors of the Dark from Severn Films. And then I also ordered Crimes of the Black Cat from Cauldron Films. And I can't wait to get those in. And I can't wait to talk about this week's movie. That is Next of Kin from 1982.
To my daughter, Linda Mary Stevens, I leave my entire inheritance, all goods, chattels, and worldly possessions that comprise the estate of Montclair.
And that is from director Tony Williams, who also did The Hum from 1974, a short film, Lost in the Garden of the World from 1975, which was a TV movie documentary, Solo from 1978, not Han, The Passion of Music from 2018, which was a documentary. It's sad that Tony never got to do another feature film. Truly is.
Yeah, he did a really good job with this.
Writers Tony Williams and Michael Heath, who also did Kyle and Summer in 1982, Death Warmed Up in 1984. Oh, hell yeah. My Grandpa is a Vampire in 1992, and A Small Life in 2000. Cinematographer Gary Hansen, who worked on Roses Bloom Twice from 1977, which was a TV movie, Image of Blood in 1978, Bad Blood in 1981, and We of the Never Never from 1982. Cinematographer Gary Hansen, who worked on Roses Bloom Twice from 1977, a TV movie, Image of Death from 1978, Bad Blood from 1981, and We of the Never Never from 1982. Music by Klaus Schultz, He worked on films such as The Thruster from 1977, which also happens to be Brody's nickname from high school.
Fucking plow.
Barracuda from 1978, Angst in 1983, and Mirror of the Planet in 1992. Makeup department Elizabeth Ann Farden, who worked on films such as Molly in 1983, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome in 1985, Crocodile Dundee in 1986, and Bullseye in 1987. Producers Robert Lettet and Timothy White. Editor Max Lemmon, who worked on films like Picnic at Hanging Rock in 1975 and Stone Cold in 1997, not Steve Austin. Starring Jackie Karen as Linda Stevens, who was in The River King in 1991 and Dirt Game in 2009. John Jarrett as Barney, who was in Picnic at Hanging Rock in 1975, Wolf Creek in 2005, and Rogue in 2007. Alex Scott as Dr. Barton, who worked on Martin Chuzzlewit in 1964, which was a television miniseries, Fahrenheit 451 in 1966, and Romper Stomper in 1992. Gerda Nicholson as Connie, who starred in Bellbird from 1968 to 1974, a television series, Prisoner in 1981 to 1986, another television series, and Gallipoli in 1981. Charles McCollum as Lance, who starred in Seven Little Australians in 1939, The Devil's Playground in 1976, and Return to Eden in 1983. Bernadette Gibson as Crazy Rita, who starred in Cop Shop in 1979, a TV series, Water Under the Bridge in 1980, another TV miniseries, Prisoner 1980 to 1983, a TV series. Robert Rowdy as Helvin, who starred in Cool Change in 1986, A Cry in the Dark in 1988, and Crackerjack in 2002. Brody, take it away.
A young woman named Linda Stevens, who inherits the ominous but seemingly harmless Monte Claire retirement home from her late mother. At first, everything seems normal. However, while on a day trip to settle her mother's estate, strange deaths start occurring in the home. Eventually, Linda uncovers her mother's diary, which details identical events 20 years earlier. It soon becomes apparent that something evil resides in this house, and that something wants Linda dead.
This film won tons of awards, including the AACTA Award in 1982 for Best Editing for Max Lemmon, nominee. Mistfest, Tony Williams got a special mention, and Stygius Film Festival, and it won the Claw de Plata Dorada, Best Director, winner, chicken dinner. That's all we could find. Boys, let's get physical. And today, we have a delicious release from Severn Films from February 26, 2019, and it runs about 89 minutes. It's not rated, and it includes special features, such as commentary with director Tony Williams and producer Tim White, commentary with Mark Hartley, and cast members Jackie Karen, John Jarrett, and Robert Ratty. House of Psychotic Women, intro by Kier La Janice for Morbido TV. Extended interviews from Not Quite Hollywood. Return to Monte Claire, location revisit in 2018. Deleted scenes, more so frames of deleted scenes. Before the Night Is Out, ballroom footage from 1979. Original theatrical trailer, UK VHS trailer, German theatrical trailer, alternate German opening, which is the same opening that we got minus the ending at the beginning. That makes sense. Image gallery, Tony Williams short films, and a reversible cover. The film's currently available on Severn Films site for $24 or Amazon for $19.98. Boys, additional information.
Alrighty. So, we mentioned it a little bit, but a little bit more. So the movie is featured in the 2008 documentary Not Quite Hollywood, the wild untold story of Exploitation, where it was praised by filmmaker Quentin Tarantino, who did call it similar in tone to The Shining, stating, which is one hell of a fucking compliment to give a movie, and I'm not overpraising it.
The film is a famous example of Australian film production. The director, Tony Williams, and screenplay writer Michael Heath are originally from New Zealand, with the website New Zealand On Screen referring to the movie as the first horror film directed and written by Kiwis that was ultimately shot and set in Australia.
Going back to those frames we mentioned, several deleted scenes, if not all of them really, from the film are believed by the creators to be fully lost or destroyed, as stated by director Tony Williams during the opening of the Blu-ray release's deleted scenes bonus feature.
So basically the rest of our information that we have here comes from the actual Blu-ray that Mr. Bowser just mentioned a couple of seconds ago. So I want to start off by saying Tony Williams actually talks about crafting the story in a different genre. So he goes on to say, I wanted to move it out of the genre of B-grade slasher horror films and more into the psychological thriller, then that will give you a lot more scope with atmospheric filmmaking if you like. Then I started to work with the DOP, the late and great Gary Henson, on the look of the film, to which he looked at the film a lot of Bertolucci. We looked at The Last Tango in Paris, strangely enough, for the lighting, camera moves and colours within the frame. So he really wanted this film to have a certain style about it.
And in talking about the camera equipment, Tony says, we spent a lot of time making rigs. For example, overhead dollies that could track across the set with a camera looking vertically down. We then got a steady camera operator, Toby Phillips, involved. Now, in those days, Steadicam was very new to Australia. We were terrified of it because it would take hours upon hours to set up.
And might I just add to that, like how effective those fucking shots are in this film with that.
It's those tracking shots. I think that's kind of at least part of where Tarantino got that sort of like Shining style.
Yeah.
Is the tracking shots.
So I think we mentioned in Dress to Kill around the 1980s where they really started to introduce Steadicam into film. So I guess 82 is whenever Australia started using it, Brody?
Pretty much. Well, yeah. I think in that interview he did elaborate a little bit more on it, and basically said around 82 is when they were starting to get that stuff in Australia. But obviously it was a big thing back then. That's why they were shitting themselves.
I mean, look how prevalent it is in today's filming, the Steadicam shot.
Yeah.
That's it. No more need to be said.
You can't have a movie without stabilization at this point anymore.
I bought a gimbal today.
Yeah, I was about to say. The man right here just bought a piece of Steadicam equipment. Literally today.
So, Tony Williams talking about the set design. So we built a set for the whole interior of the house, and along the top of the various rooms, obviously we laid out these rails so that the camera could be supported from above on tracking devices with the rails on top of the set. So this meant that we were shooting about 120 frames with 5 people on ropes either side of the dolly, running fast as they could to keep up with the actor, to which it worked out pretty well. So I'm guessing that is directed to the scene after she runs out of the bathroom near the end. So that was makes sense. Extremely effective shot.
It is. It's really good. I think so. I think you're right. I think it is the tracking for the shot after she runs out. Okay. Well, in kind of where that shot sort of goes. So Tony, referencing the ending shot of the film as well, he said, the idea was that the camera would crane from a high angle as the girl would come out of the diner. The camera tracks into the back of the truck until we're looking at her through the back of the truck window. And then as we pan back to see where we've just been, the whole building blows up. The special effects guy pushed the button, and we had not planned around that. So the explosion showed a reflection on the sign. And by the time we pan around, most of it was over. The public saw the ending shot and loved it, I being one of them. That was not from Tony, that was me. Not seeing it until the end was brilliant. I agree with him wholeheartedly.
Absolutely. I think there was a little bit more to that I should have mentioned in the notes, and it was that there was a guy on set who actually built, I'm pretty sure it was this special crane for that, or there was some sort of
special jib
camera equipment. A jib, that's right. He did too, yeah. So he built this fucking jib and he spent months on making it. And then when they went to pull that shot off and it came this beautifully disguised, unwritten fucking thing in the script, the bloke broke down on set. He was like crying because he'd spent so long making it and they never fucking got to use it.
Oh, poor guy. I hope he still got paid well for making it. Shit. Damn, he didn't even get to fucking use it.
Basically, Tony talks about releasing of the film and like the legacy of it even today. He states, it didn't have the loving hands-on care from the group of filmmakers and producers that another film might have had. As in other words, once we had finished it, we edited it and it was completed. It just disappeared. It went off to a few festivals, which I didn't even know that it was going to. It went to stages and won Best Director. Max Lemmon won Best Editing at the AFI Awards. But it just vanished from sight and we all sort of lost contact. It really wasn't until 20 years later it became a bit of a cult following film in America. And then Tarantino discovered, especially been raving about it and now it has this little cult following after all these years. So yeah, it was sad. It would have been nice to see it on the screen.
Yeah, it really would. So kind of going into that, talking more about the release of Australian films, Tony says, I guess I just feel disappointed generally with much of the film industry in this part of the world. There are so many Australian films that don't get a release because they're competing with Hollywood, and I think if we spoke a different language in Australia, all of our films would be seen. But because we speak English, we have to compete with big American pictures. Is that wrong? I mean,
I found this this next bit of information pretty fascinating. It was when Tarantino was doing his release of The Hateful Eight, and he was doing it down in Melbourne here. So yeah, basically when asked in an interview about exploitation storytelling and his favourite Australian films in an interview with Screen Australia, Mr. Tarantino goes on to say, well, oddly enough, in a weird way, a lot of people have said, and I guess I have that to thank for my influence in film growing up, is that I have two parents that are foreign art, cinema, and exploitation movies, to which I've always been trying to meld the two together for the majority of my career. And I guess one of the things that I always really responded to in Australian cinema is that they seem to be made up of these two parents. Now, my top 3 Australian films are going to be picked off the top of my head. So number 1 is Richard Franklin's Road Games. The second would be George Miller's original Mad Max. And there's a third film that I'm a real big fan of, and it's called Next of Kin. That stars John Jarratt, and it literally is a horror film quite unlike any other. I talked to John Jarratt about it because the director didn't do another movie after this, and I think they were an industrial filmmaker that was able to put a movie together. I barely remember the story, to tell you the truth. I know it focuses on a young woman and John Jarratt is her boyfriend, but the tone I remember is that it has a unique tone, and the closest equivalent tone to this film is The Shining. There's no movie that really feels like The Shining, with the possible exception of this film, Next of Kin. It doesn't try and take away anything from it. They share no similarities, but there is the mesmerising tone of dread that's in the film that I think is truly unique to it, and it's very effective.
I think that can be attributed to the cinematographer's use of the long shot. Like, there's long fucking takes, and they really do
shots. Yeah.
Actually, Dean Cundy does it a lot in Jurassic Park, where they do a long shot and then they move the camera all in the take, and then they don't necessarily do the reveal till the very end. So they'll move the camera and they'll have it over top of something, like her in bed, where they'll start on the floor and then they'll move up onto the bed. In Jurassic Park, they do it with the raptor eggs.
Yeah.
Similar to that. It allows to build suspense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's still being used. If you guys have seen 1917, I mean, that movie's famous as hell for the amount of its long takes.
But I think that's where Kubrick's Shining and this have a relatively same theme, is that the utilization of the long shot and the way that it builds suspense within the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Did you also notice there was a couple of Spielberg dolly pulls in this?
Dude, the hallway. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh! I was like, Jaws?
No, man, it's unmistakable.
But it's like we're just revealing a fucking empty hallway. What's the reveal?
It's disorienting as fuck.
And it just still fucks with you. Yeah, it's an empty hallway. It still fucks with you.
It's creating the motion without motion. It's truly unsettling.
Vertigo. Don't say that movie. So I guess going into Tarantino's thoughts on the film, Tony does say, well, it was interesting that Tarantino said it had reminded him of The Shining because I had not seen The Shining at the time. But what is significant is that I did want the film to have a European feel.
Gothic, you mean?
He says European. I'm reading the words.
Yeah. European, aka Gothic.
Yeah.
Could be jelly.
Yeah, I'll talk about that because I will explode.
All over us.
Sorry. I just also want to give a shout out in the fucking additional information. There is a very tasty beer in this film, and I've just got to fucking say it. Melbourne Bitter. If you are listening to this, I want a lifetime free supply since I'm promoting this for you. Sponsorship, whatever. Just give me that delicious beer. I've got to put it out there. I had to say it. Fucking Melbourne bitter, mate. Melbourne's better.
Don't they have a jingle?
No, they don't actually.
Oh, no, we're getting.
Do you want a lifetime supply of Stubbies or Tinnies?
Oh, look at fucking Nick. I like Stubbies more so, but I'd be still happy with Tinnies if you nice cold Tinnies. Fucking Nick, I'm impressed, mate. You've been doing your homework.
he knows how to use Google.
I'm not looking at the Wikipedia for Melbourne bitter right now at all. Although I do kind of get it. I mean, Stubbies and Tinnies, I'm assuming they're the same amount of liquid, so it's probably just the same as we've got the same like bottles and cans, and the bottles are always better, unless it's Bud Light Platinum, in which case
when
it's
we do
canned
this
and
many
therefore better.
Exploitation films, I'm surprised it took this long for VB to be brought up.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the majority of all the other fucking films that we've done have been other states. And to be fair, I mean, Mad Max was Victoria, but they don't drink any piss in that, so. No, sorry, I just had to point that out there.
Totally on par with the rest of our stuff, so.
Fair. I was surprised at the end when he's like, when the kid is trying to offer Linda snacks over and over again, and he's offering just like everything they've got, and I'm like, he did not once offer her Tim Tams. Were Tim Tams even a thing in the early 80s? No, that one, no, I've actually had Tim Tams before. Those things are fucking delicious.
Oh, they are. Do you know what you fucking need? You need a cup of I don't know if you get Milo over there, or anyway, you probably don't, but hot chocolate.
I don't think so.
So if you get a fucking cup of hot chocolate, get a Tim Tam, bite the ends off, and use that as a straw, and you're like,
I've heard of that actually. Okay, I gotta try that. I was say the closest we'll have is I gotta do it with a cup of fucking Swiss Miss, but yeah, I gotta try that. I've straight up ordered Tim Tams from Australia before, the same as I've ordered fucking Jaffa cakes from the UK.
yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah.
Well, boys, let's talk about it! So, favorite performance of the film, Brody Kane.
Well, I'd have to give it to our lead, Jackie Karen. I mean, she is great in this film.
Oh my, right?
She really. Do you know what I really like though is that she can hide emotion extremely well. Her presence on screen is captivating, but it also, I guess, comes down to the style of filmmaking with Tony. Like he was saying earlier, he really wanted to do something different, and I think he succeeded. She really pulls the audience in with her charm, and by the time the credits roll, we see her have changed into this badass final girl. And even yet, she still shows no emotion. Like, yes, it has affected her, but it's just facial expression. I don't know. It's really a dark gothic, aesthetic.
I read somewhere that there's 7 kills shown, that Rita and the boy claim 7 on screen. Right.
Well, I mean, she did have her fucking boyfriend come at her dead on a fucking wheelchair.
Barney got rolled out, bludgeoned. We see, on-screen deaths or like on-screen, the kill itself? Because we see a lot of bodies, but
referenced or shown, just like all of that, like 7 total. Like Rita has a kill count of 7, I guess.
So, guy drowned in the bathtub at the start. Connie, Barney, Dr. Barton.
Flashbacks.
There was one of the. I'm forgetting about the flashbacks. Yep. Okay, that was it.
There's 7 because remember, there's also the ball one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, was it Rita or her fucking Mongoloid son?
The Mongoloid son wouldn't have been flashback. That would have been Rita.
No. But for the
No, that's what I said. It was Rita and the boy. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kelvin killed Barney because it looked like when Barney got rolled out, he'd been like bludgeoned with the hammer, and Kelvin had the hammer.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Barney's downstairs, bursts through the door. Rita's upstairs doing the weird fucking thing in the chair,
putting on the coat, sitting at the desk, going, "Oh, she's gonna be so scared," and then looking out the window like, "Oh, I'm gonna spook my niece so hard." When her and my dipshit son get up.
Fucking A.
How about you guys? What'd you think?
It was 100% Linda. It was definitely Linda. I was saying Barney is a close second.
I was gonna say I fucking love Barney. I love Barney, and then to find out that that's fucking Mick Taylor, that just fucking crushes my little heart.
And he goes from being the lovable dude and the crazed maniac.
Man, I wanted to drink.
So good,
I wanted to drink a VB with him. He just seemed like a guy you just wanted to hang out with, and like he knows how to have a good time. And I mean, yeah, fucking right. And then he kills people. But yeah.
God bless Australia.
God bless Melbourne, bitter.
But is there anything else you want to say about Homegirl's performance, Nick?
I would say mine is basically just going to be kind of topping a little bit of some additionals on top of what Brody has already said. That's I think that like kind of veneer she's got over her for like the acting, it's like stoicism. She's still getting affected by it, obviously, especially from the final scene where she runs back to the diner and then Kelvin slams through in the van, and you just kind of see her like shut down initially because she's standing there with like her arms crossed over her chest, like, nope, okay, I'm done. Like, damn it, are you really? While the kid is desperately trying to shoot the van with the shotgun, and the whole time you're sitting there like, Linda, help the child.
Also, in Australia, they don't have Star Wars; they have Space Wars.
They have Space or Space War or something. Yeah. I saw
Space
War. Sweet. Yeah. I was like, was this supposed to be a?
Pretty sure I've seen that movie, Brody. It's a different
arcade
film.
Cabinet. Yeah. Yo, guys, I think I picked up the wrong Star Wars movie.
Whoa, the lightsaber don't go in there. Okay. Favorite set piece.
Ooh, well, it'd have to go to the Montclair Homestead, I reckon.
Right? So that special feature that is on the Blu-ray kind of shows you what it looks like in 2018. Still just as gothic, just as beautiful, and just as fucking creepy. Now, Brody said that some of the interiors weren't actually shot at Ye Old Homestead, that they were shot elsewhere. So things might not necessarily line up.
No, not at all. I think it was actually in the additional information, even like Tony Williams said how they built a set design in Melbourne. For the interior stuff. So, but I do believe
you'd almost have to rig that overhead shot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
And I saw actually, like, I mean, we don't take IMDb by gospel. However, when I looked up the locations for this film, IMDb was telling me that some of the interior locations of this film filmed somewhere in Melbourne. It did tell me the name of the street. Well, actually, give me the actual address of the fucking house, but I think that was another old homestead. But yeah, like I said, I think they built the majority of the interior stuff on the soundstage. So, but the Montclair Homestead today, beautiful location, a lot of weddings.
Yes,
have been booked there, like venues and stuff. So I'll have to, when I go back home, might do the rounds.
When you enter it nowadays, there's two separate driveways. One's for staff, and then one's for guests doing the weddings. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's I guess it's fucking
full on,
big enough to do that. Yeah, it's pretty full on. I have been to the pub that you do see Barney for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Cosmopolitan, yeah. It's up in Trentham, just out of Melbourne. So beautiful area, really nice. Yeah, so that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, what about you guys? What do you reckon?
Yeah, the nursing home, dude. Too fucking cool to not say that. It is the focal point of this, and very similar to like the Suspiria School or even the Psycho House. This is just super iconic, and the shit that goes on inside is just terrifying. So
yes,
I think the outside matches that.
Oh, for sure. I got big Suspiria vibes every time she was going up that spiral staircase for any reason. When she's like going up and she's got the little, from the windows, the like little squares of light she's got to pass up through whenever she sees her Aunt Rita in the window for the first time. She's to go back in and go up. 100% Suspiria vibes.
He's just like to explode. Look at him.
I know what you mean when you're like, this fucking Australian genre movie. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go with we're gonna have to do a double again, where we all chose the same person in the same. Well, wait, did you pick Barney as your favorite performance, TJ?
You got it right.
Well then, all right. So yeah, at least we all in agreement on set piece for sure.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not? We can't say Australian Outback. This isn't really highlighting that film. film. This is more like Quentin Tarantino said. It's more of an industrial film, and it shows. This isn't your normal Ozploitation film, and I think that's why we're covering it, because it's not your normal Ozploitation film. It's not like super like Mad Max. It really shows Australia. This kind of just, other than showing like the kangaroo dude doing the voices and shit, and then
it was the dude with the fucking koala puppet.
Yeah. Oh, koala. That was a koala. Yeah.
I really see it.
Is that a thing down there? That koala guy?
I was gonna ask.
I have no fucking idea. There's that much random shit that goes on down this way. I mean, it could potentially be. But it's funny you should say when you're comparing the pair on location settings. Like, I mean, you've got the desert of Australia, which a lot of people just assume Australia is. But when I grew up in Victoria where it was green, exactly like this with those old homesteads. When I see a film like this, I feel that it definitely shows Australia. It's not just about the desert landscape. I mean, yes, it is.
But massive, you can't tell right away.
No, exactly. Like when
that's
when
what makes it special.
Exactly, yeah. So when you watch Mad Max 1, when you watch the paddocks, this film, and you see all the paddocks and landscapes of like green grass, that to me, I'm like, well, that to me showcases Australia.
Yes.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like big fucking country. That's like someone making a film about like the nature of or not making a film about, but showcasing like the US and just showing the Southwest.
Yeah.
Like just showing the Mojave or something and being like, that's America. It's like, have you seen Maine?
But it shows different than what the
Yeah.
But it shows different than what the stereotype is that is associated with Australia and what is typically shown in Ozploitation or films that are made.
Right.
Exactly.
It's
I mean, you got Razorback, you've got fucking Mad Max.
Here's a question. When you see films shot in New Zealand, what do you think of? Lord of the Rings.
Fucking hills.
Hills and tops.
Yeah.
Hills.
Yeah, hills. Green hills. Very green hills.
But when we do a New Zealand film on our next season, we won't mention it, but when we do that, you'll actually get to see what it is exactly like.
Okay.
It's much more than just fucking green
hills
and hills and shit. So
it's interesting. So like a little geographic element coming at you from Lights, Camera, Exploitation. Okay.
Sure.
So Brody, you and I talked about this, the next one, favorite shot or scene pre-show, and we both agree on the same one because it kind of inspires some of our personal work, and it's super, super iconic to us. And Brody, you want to say what it is?
Ooh.
Well, I'll say for another reason why I like it, but then you can elaborate on it.
Yes.
So the reason why I really like this death scene of Rita is, well, I don't know if you noticed throughout the film during each intense and scary scene involving old people, there is no sound or music to scare the audience. It's just realism of like an atmospheric, like just what would you call it, Mr. Basil? Just ambience.
Yeah, that's what you would have to call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
lack thereof. They utilize silence as a suspense tool.
Yeah, they don't bring it in to scare you when you see these old people. Anyone
they
dies,
let the visual.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. And so, but however, it's after Linda runs out of the bathroom, we get this. Obviously, you'll elaborate on it, but you get that fantastic shot. And then featuring some of the most disturbing sounds collabed together is thrown over the top. So it hits you and you're like, holy fuck, what the hell is this? Because you weren't expecting it that whole time. So I think sound plays a really huge part in this scene. And it creates a fucking haunting scene. I don't even know what it is. It's like a bunch of screams morphed together, whatever the fuck it is, but it makes you like you're yelling at the screen going,
disorients you.
Fuck out of there. Yeah, it really does, and it definitely hits you for six. It's an effective scene. But yeah, I'll let you elaborate on the actual cinematography of that scene.
Yeah. So when I watch that scene, I see Hitchcock. I see Psycho. When you see the guy in Psycho walking up the steps, and then we see the cut to the overhead shots of Norman running out of the room in his mother's garb with a knife full on fucking extended, and then he stabs him. Like, that overhead shot is replicated here, but utilizing the slow-mo technique that we saw utilized earlier in the film with the little girl. So they're almost mirroring that shot from an overhead perspective. And then, so they have it slow-mo. Now, I don't know if it's a frame rate change or if it's an actual use of slow motion camera, like if they actually just slow down the footage or not. It is so awesome. The overhead shot of her flailing her arms, and then the way it transitions is, I almost want to say it's a steady cam shot of somebody walking down the steps as she's coming down them, because the way it just highlights her movement and kind of locks on, but kind of keeps her within that frame off to the right there, that very cinematic type feel. And then I think, and then it kind of transitions to out the front door. It's just, wow.
Yeah.
There's just so much homage and suspense.
It sinks in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, it's really good. I also have a little bit on it, before I do mine, that silent, going back to the sound for a second, that like silence kind of play to it. The way that I kind of felt about it, it almost has that sort of, I know this has been used in film and television stuff before, but it's that sort of like when you're outside and there's no sound at all and it's wrong, it's off. Because it's like there's no animal, there's no bugs are making any noise, no animal making any noise, no wind, no, it's just still silence when it shouldn't be. So like for the whole movie, there's been ambient sound, and that lack of that silence definitely drives that anxiety, that just anxious feeling home before cutting to just the off the rails, screaming. All the sound comes back as it's all disorienting and just, you're getting overstimulated almost because you've got to readjust back so quickly after the complete lack of any stimulation from the sound.
But like Brody said earlier, her performance really doesn't unleash until that moment though. She is kind of like, you can see it, like she's holding herself back as she's kind of like trying to not over exaggerate the situation or make it more than it needs to be. And whenever she does, we see Barney kind of collect her again because she runs out of the house the first time whenever she thinks those people are killing them. And we see herself kind of collect herself. So we see herself break twice in this film. And that second time, I just think having the cinematography, like you guys said, the utilization of that unique sound design in conjunction with that, it just makes her a super iconic scene.
Oh, for sure. It is a fantastic one. I think my favorite still is going to be that final shot. Like I mentioned earlier, I agree with Tony. The explosion of the diner happening reflected off of the like wildfire level warning sign was fantastic. It adds a bit of irony to it too, as well, with the explosion and fire going up as you're watching it reflected off of a fire ban wildfire sign like that. It's great, especially having just come back from that road trip across the whole of the Southwest U.S., just looking at max fire signs the entire time. Everything's fully in the red the whole way, and just seeing just the giant flames of a whole diner going up just in that as it pans back to it, and you still have the aftermath of the explosion as it's kind of like settling out and everything, and then it kind of pans back around. It's just perfect the way it ended up being. Like,
when I saw that shit, I was like, there's going to be some very, very pissed off farmers. Those flames are going to tear through those fucking paddocks. Did you see how dry they were?
Yes. That's the thing, because like, it's not just that. It's the fire warning sign, and you're looking at the driest fucking shrubbery that exists on the face of the earth. It's not in like the Atacama or some shit. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with the panning shot for me on that one.
Favorite effect and/or death?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Linda blowing Kelvin's fucking head clean off his shoulders.
You took mine.
Did you guys expect a headshot, honestly? Like, I was expecting a torso shot with blood coming through the glass or something like that, but did not see that coming. But
I was
the way that scene is edited is definitely, it helps that scene kick goals. That was fucking
that was fucking great. No, I was expecting the explosion, except I was expecting something smaller initially. Whenever the kid shoots out the gas tank and you see it spilling out as the wires are like dropping down next to him, and he's like yelling at her, Linda, and everything. I was absolutely expecting her to like shoot near it and have the sparks like ignite the van up or something and burn him. And I was sitting there, I'm gonna fully admit, I was absolutely sitting there yelling at the screen. Like, I was like, Linda, just go up and blow his head off. Oh shit, she did. Just watch it walk up, level it straight at his head, and then watch it pop like a fucking blister. I was like, oh, all right, good shoot. Oh shit. Well, so yeah, part of that was
I'm gonna blow your fucking cafe up, motherfucker.
Just straight the fuck up apart. Like, goddamn.
Savage.
Now, there's some Boardwalk Empire scenes that are on par with that. Calling back to my shit from the slice of life. Seen a few of those the past week.
Fucking Steve Buscemi once again.
Fucking A, man.
What about you, Mr. Bowser? What was your favourite death scene?
Comb to the eye.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, nah, that's fucking... I probably should have chose that because, you know, me and my eye fucking thing, I hate that shit.
Same. The moment she looked over at the comb and I saw the point on the end of
Again.
it, right after she had her eye up to it, I was like,
Again.
this is about to get uncomfortable.
When we get to the next one, and I'll merge it with the other one, the eye thing comes into play.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Can I just unload now, please?
Blow your load.
Okay.
Blow it everywhere.
So, thoughts on story, and I'll merge it with my impacts, and I'll let the boys do the round. Okay, so, Brody mentioned Mr. Tarantino says earlier that he kind of thinks that the themes match The Shining. And I can see that to an extent with the way that the film is shot and the way that, what is his name, Tony Williams?
Yeah. I would say, the tone.
Yeah.
The overall feel
Now
of The Shining. The dread.
the themes of this film, I think, are more on par with that of the Jolly, of the Spanish and Italian mystery films of the 1970s and 80s, or even the 60s. I think that the way that this film utilizes a false supernatural element and then also utilizes the flashback, utilizes the weird circle with the ending at the beginning and then at the end again, just all of those different things, and then the boyfriend having the crazy aunt break out of a mental asylum and then have this mongoloid helper. This is such like a German creamy type fucking thing. It's such a jolly thing. This is an Aussie jolly. This is amazing. This is like the first of its kind. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, there's somebody that called Williams Australia's Argento, and he is everything that Argento is, but without the insane amount of style and color, if that makes sense. He's an industrial, as industrial comes, as in, yeah, the guy's not necessarily a feature film guy. He's a documentary guy. And that clearly shows in this. But also, this film's extremely effective. For whatever fucking reason, I don't know. Is it the long shot? Is it the sound editing? I think it's just a culmination of so many different things put into one. It's just fucking amazing. And now you want to say eye thing. You know, the eye thing? That's a Lucio Fulci thing. 2 years prior to this, we got a fucking Splinter the Eye in Zombie, and you can't tell me that Lucio Fulci work didn't inspire some of the story for this, including the eye stab. Just the themes, the way that the film's just paced. I just think that it's super Fulci in tone. And yeah, I think it has the style of Argento at times, while the pacing and story of the Fulci film. It's a weird Australian jolly.
I was completely I was say it's completely understandable. Yep.
I can be honest.
that false paranormal like tinge to it as well. That one definitely felt extreme.
Was it needed? No. Does it add an extra layer of creepiness?
Yeah.
Yes. It is so
it's
cool.
Great. It at least kept me guessing too, because like at the I was like, what is it? Is the place haunted or something? You know, especially with the whole, it's the theme of her reading through like her mom's diary and having the stuff happen to her. And it's like
thing.
Yeah. No, I say it definitely plays into it. Also, god damn you for reminding me of the Splinter scene from fucking Zombie.
Right?
I'd repressed that.
and how many twists? And how many twists are there? There's 3. It's not ghosts. It's not just Rita. It's her mongoloid boy. There's 3 fucking twists, and they hit you, boom, 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 right now, right at the end, and it's just all one big stretched out fucking suspense. Yeah. Full fucking film.
Oh, that's good. It goes fucking balls to the wall at the end with it. It just goes full Jalo. It really does. I mean, you're not wrong.
And then it has like this Texas Chainsaw Massacre ending. Like a happy one. You know what I mean? Like a lot more happier version of that. Because she's driving off into the sunset with the boy, and then there's the house is exploding, or there's gas stations exploding behind him. It's just super cool. Diner, whatever it is.
I think it's a diner.
There's a gas station. There's a gas pump out front. I don't know what they call that there. What do you call those there, Brody? What's the slang term?
Petrol station?
Yeah, well, we call them petrol stations now, but back then I just call it a diner. Well, I mean, it's still a diner with a fucking fuel.
We got them here.
It's convenient. That's what it is.
Yeah. I'm here. They're like, hell, half of the shit, like between the city I'm in now and my hometown, which is only about 30 minutes away, you're going to see like 3 little diners with gas stations out front. Or, well, get pumps anyway.
So what do you guys think of the story?
Like, fuck, what more can I say that you already haven't fucking said, other than the fact that I kept saying to myself throughout the film, I like how it plays with different subgenres. Like, one minute, like you think it's a supernatural film, and then it turns that on its head, and then it's like, fuck, could be a slasher film, a thriller. Like Tony said, that was his intention to make throughout the film. He wanted to do something different. But with Linda, I just got to say, everything turns to shit for this poor. I mean, every time she's happy, something fucking bad happens. And
damsel in distress trope.
Yeah, it's like she comes out winning in the end, but fuck me, for what cost?
Kinda.
Like, it was,
I mean, she lives, but like,
she
had
had
to
to read
a relationship, and he gets malleted.
Yeah. But why is this happening? All because she got this house.
Exactly.
It was thrust
upon her for no reason. Was it her mother or Rita's death that caused
her mom?
Okay, her mom.
It was her mother.
Yeah, she inherited it from her mom.
So this is completely coincidence that Rita breaks out around the same time that her mom dies. So, or does Rita break out and kill her mom and then come back?
No, I think it's for like her mom dies of like natural causes or something at the start. And it just so happens that, I don't know, maybe they like caught wind of it. Maybe like Rita found out and was like, fuck you, this is my place. Like, your douchebag mom got me sent to a psychiatric hospital. Not, addressing the fact she's literally insane and should have been in the psychiatric hospital. Which also explains her son as well. It kind of almost feels like one of the twists is that build up at the start when you're not quite sure that it's paranormal and you think that it might be. It's building up into being The Shining, and then it flips it on its head and goes, ha, we got you with a Giallo movie instead.
Yeah, the moment they show a dude standing in the woods and it's a fake out scene, that's super jolly.
Like whenever Kelvin's standing there or whatever, and fucking Barney goes over and pretends to get stabbed or whatever.
Even though it did look like Barney in the distance.
Did.
To say.
Yeah, they really did. Like, I can't blame her for it at all. But yeah,
that wasn't Barney, that was Mick Taylor.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Mick. Pleased to meet ya.
But yeah, I mean, you can definitely still, at least for impact, you can absolutely see where that's gone now. Even just with the take of like, you think the movie's going to be of this sort of genre going all the way through until you kind of get either to like the third act of it or so, you can absolutely still see that in plenty of movies. Even if it's just like the reverse. I think I was mentioning this movie a little bit before we started talking, Neon Demon, which just kind of seems to be a regular sort of action thriller, which you can't be blamed for thinking of, or maybe not an action thriller, but like a crime drama, kind of like that, because the guy had made Drive beforehand, which is just a straightforward crime movie, until you get to the end and it's just like, psych, it's a fucking surrealist horror film.
I love Psych. Such a good TV show.
It is good. Yeah. Psych. But yeah, I guess that's about where mine is. I already mentioned the 1917 long shots; those long takes still persist heavily through.
So, Brody, how do you feel this film left its mushroom stamp on Australian cinema?
I'm actually a little bit devastated that it wasn't actually well known back then. I actually, when I was at film school, I spoke to one of my teachers about this film because I'd never seen it. I'd only heard of it. I said, "Look, did you ever see this film?" He goes, "I was one of the lucky ones to see this in the cinema, and it was one of the fucking best experiences that I ever fucking had watching like any movie, let alone a horror movie." And me and him would always talk about this film, and then it finally come out a year later on Blu-ray, and I got the chance to watch it, and I was actually blown away by it. And yeah, back then I did think that it had the Shining vibe, but it wasn't until I started getting into more Giallo films that I'm like, the other day watching this, I'm like, oh, this is a fucking love letter to the Giallo films. And hence why Tony Williams said I wanted that European film.
Yeah,
like
totally there now, right?
Yeah, so it all makes sense. The dots are connected, but I just wish it had been a bigger film back in the day. But a lot of Australian films were like that. I mean, there's another John Jarratt film called Dark Age about a fucking crocodile that eats people up in the Northern Territory, which was kind of remade by the Wolf Creek director. Hence bringing him back called Rogue, which you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think it's a fantastic fucking film. It's one of my favorite exploitative films. But you know me, I love that old homestead setting.
Yes.
It's very
Mhm.
awesome. So I cream my jeans over that shit every day of the week. And like I said earlier, it's because we grew up with buildings like that back home, and I always found them fascinating, just rich history in that sense. So it was really cool to see this.
So
play
you
out on the screen.
appreciate the realistic and modern take of the film, but you're also prepped for the apocalypse with your sexy mullet.
How good did that skullet look, though? I've got to grow that motherfucker back. I've got to grow it back. I don't know why I shaved it off. I'm a fucking idiot. It'd be halfway down my back now. Yes, I am ready for the apocalypse.
Hell yeah.
Bring it on. I will be in my V8, Holden Ute, one of the last, and we sorted.
Well.
The old Chrysler will get a fucking makeup. It'll be all stripped back like what you said when I first bought it. Just Mad Max that motherfucker.
I was going to say Mad Max. You have what? You have a 300, right?
Yeah, 300C,
Yeah.
06 model. So.
The doppelganger requests toilet paper.
Well, I heard that clip and I was like, that's pretty good.
Fucking A, boys. So let's rate this. And this week we got Dead Elderly Folk in Bathtubs out of 5. Brody, start us off.
I'm going to give it a 4.1.
Oh, going high this week, boy. Slick Nick, what about you?
You have to stop taking literally my exact answers. I'm going to go above a 4 for this one. 4.1. 4.1. Son of a bitch.
Okay, so I'm going to give it a 4.25. That is an LCE score of 4.1. Yeah! Out of 5 dead elderly folks in bathtubs. And next episode is our season finale of 1974's Bob Clark's classic, Black Christmas.
Mm-hmm. And I won't be leaving you guys this time.
So prepare yourself for the arrival of Billy.
I am Billy, motherfucker. You know.
Okay, boys. So I can't wait to do the next episode and, of course, finish off this season with a bang. So, guys, this is the Pod Boss DJ Bowser. Until next time, signing off.
This is your doppelganger Kanga Banger all the way from down under saying, I'll catch you next week, motherfuckers.
So Nicholas saying, I'm going to be thinking about all y'all while I'm in that pool.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Bob's got a huge dick.
I can't wait to put the gloves on and just be like, this is the first slasher film. Anybody that thinks Halloween is stupid.
Oh, fuck.
I can't wait.
That was Halloween anyway. It was like several, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 4.
In comes the hate mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Halloween would not be as good if John Carpenter didn't watch Suspiria the year prior to making it.
No, that's fair.
CJ will be at Steel City Con if you want to debate with him about this.
He was going to be like at full mast for the whole next episode, and I was like, I can't blame him.
There's like a boxing ring set up with a table in the middle of it. And anyone who wants to jump in the fucking ring with him.
Dude, it's like anybody. Oh, I can't wait. Terminator 2 is overrated. I can't wait.
Actually, I'll argue with that right now. That's fucking great film, mate.
It is great if you understand the first film.
It's not the best
Imagine
standalone, but like
standalone film. You don't know anything about Terminator, and you watch Terminator 2. What's your initial thoughts on Sarah Connor? No, you're not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Tell me what to think.
Well, that's the reason why it's a sequel.
This bit, I know. I understand that.
Sequels that are incredible standalones. Godfather Part 2,
Mad Max,
Aliens,
Road Warrior,
and Mad Max. Aliens you could watch on your own.
Just
not
saying. I think
about.
the best sequels can stand alone. Aliens, example. Just saying.
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2. I'm just saying, man. The most memorable sequel should be able to stand on its own without any prior knowledge, like the Star Wars films. You should be able to go in and be like, okay, I get it.
Oh, no, that's fair. I mean, Empire Strikes Back, that was the sequel to the first. That's the first one I ever saw. Mm-hmm. I had no knowledge of A New Hope before that, and I was like, that movie was fantastic. And my grandma was like, well, there's fucking 4 more of them. So